Hey there. I'm not happy. The campaign for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was released in early access this week, and as such, the players rushed to pre-order the newest addition to their time-enduring franchise. Now, I haven't played very much of these new games, and quite frankly, the multiplayer aspect has been lost on me for quite some time. Nearly a decade now. But I love playing the campaigns in these games, and I took issue with a particular set of story cutscenes in Modern Warfare 3. I will be spoiling these sections in these games: Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 2019, the new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, and the new Modern Warfare 3. Feel free to play them before listening to the rest of this video. I know not everyone will agree with me, but please, hear me out. I'll try not to waste your time. John "Soap" McTavish is an important character in these games, and it's worth mentioning to the folks who aren't up to date with this series that after Modern Warfare 3, with the number, the series was rebooted, telling a similar story with the same characters in a new world. These games are relatively simple. US and British special forces face off against the terrorists, whether that be Russians or the fictional Uzbekistanian terrorist group Al-Qatala. In Modern Warfare 3 with the numeral, you face off against a Russian splinter cell led by Vladimir Makarov, a familiar face to longtime players as he was also the villain in the original Modern Warfare 2 and 3. Yes, I know this is confusing, but they named these games this, so we have to deal with it. In the new game, Makarov has planted bombs in the UK train network, and plans to kill a large number of civilians. However, he wasn't planning on the united efforts of our group of protagonists, known as Task Force 141, a group comprised of leader Captain John Price, Kyle Gaz Garrick, Simon Ghost Riley, and John "Soap" McTavish. In the middle of defusing the bombs planted in the subway, the group are ambushed by Makarov and his goons. He shoots Soap in the back and then Price in the chest, holding Price's hand with his boot, and telling him,
"Never bury your enemies alive."
Suddenly, Soap jumps up and stabs Makarov in the neck, but it's not very effective, and Makarov shoots Soap in the head, and it's very effective. Soap is killed instantly, and Gaz and Ghost rush in and make Makarov retreat, before the task force regroup and cut the wires, thwarting the evil plot. Alright. I have multiple questions. Where are Gaz and Ghost? They seemingly appear out of nowhere. Really living up to your namesake there, Simon! Why aren't they already in the tunnel protecting the people defusing the bombs? By some miracle, Makarov is barely affected by a knife in the neck. How is he able to retreat? We know he isn't dead because in the ending cutscene they confirm he is injured. And why does Makarov pull the knife out of his neck? That actively makes the situation worse. On the off chance that he was actually going to be okay after being stabbed, he made his chances of dying on the way out the door infinitely higher. You are never supposed to remove the weapon after being stabbed. If Soap didn't cut anything major going in, he almost certainly did coming back out. And keeping the knife in his neck could be blocking any extra blood flow from exiting his body, potentially saving his life. I understand they intended the scene to be interpreted differently. If I wanted to headcanon it, I could say that it's just adrenaline kicking in and an involuntary response to being stabbed in the neck, but removing that blade would have almost definitely been fatal. Why isn't Price showing more care for his fallen ally? He gives a but is otherwise unfazed, even though his teammate was killed by his greatest foe. Admittedly, Ghost calling out "Johnny" is a good attempt, but then he checks the vitals of the man who has been shot in the temple. And Gaz doesn't even get a line about it unless you sit and try to mourn Soap, where he tells you he's gone and you must finish the mission. How did Makarov's soldiers not squad wipe these imbeciles? When Gaz and Ghost run in, they run almost directly in front of enemy fire. They are less than 10 feet in front of their targets. How did they not end our heroes here and now? Also, why are Makarov's soldiers sitting there watching while Soap stabs Makarov in the neck? They watch. They are sitting here. They have to watch as Soap stabs Makarov in the neck, and then they watch as Makarov executes him. What are they doing? They're just like, "I don't know. You got this, boss." I know a couple of these are nitpicky, but a nitpick can still be correct. I don't think that anyone could justify Gaz and Ghost spawning in out of nowhere. Afterwards, they have a send-off for Soap where they scatter his ashes into the wind, which almost feels like they had an idea of where they wanted to go when scripting, but didn't know how to get to that point meaningfully. Soap and Ghost had a good relationship in Modern Warfare 2, and there was a line of dialogue between them where Soap says he wants to be like Ghost if he lives that long, and Ghost tells him he probably won't.
Good advice, LT. I want to be like you when I grow up.
You want to be better than me, Johnny?
I will be.
Good man.
Think I'll live that long?
Probably not.
I've seen reactions to these bits online like this is some great standard for character building, But this is paltry, especially for Soap, who is half of the reason people even played the campaign of the original Modern Warfare 3. My favorite Call of Duty is the original Modern Warfare 3 for a multitude of reasons, and I can already hear some of you saying, "Alright, he just explained why he doesn't like the new ones, he only likes the old." But give me a few minutes to explain myself, and as a sign of good faith, I always thought that the ending of the original Modern Warfare 3 was heavily rushed too, and they had no idea how to wrap up the story in a way that ties the whole story together. In the original Modern Warfare 3, Soap has been critically injured and will die if he doesn't get help soon. You fight with Price and a new character to the series called Yuri, who we don't really know much about. Keep that in mind, I'll come back to it later. Soap gets the help he needs, but he still has to take it a little slow. He's not at 100% capacity, but he still wants to help Price take down Makarov. In the middle of the game, you play a mission with Soap and Yuri where you have to help Price get to Makarov to kill him before he makes things worse between Russia and the United States, as at this point, World War III has already begun and the Russian president's daughter has been kidnapped by Makarov's group. Wild plot, but we are focusing on the characters we know. Makarov knew that we were going to try and kill him here, and he had a trap set using Price's friend Kamarov as bait. Makarov comes over our comms for the first time in the game, and he tells Yuri that he's disappointed in him, before blowing the tower up with Yuri and Soap still on top, leading them to tumble off the side of the building through a bunch of scaffolding into the ground. They barely survive the fall, but Soap's wound is reopened and he begins bleeding out. Throughout the mission, you begin to realize he's not making it out of this one. You have to navigate between carrying Soap on your shoulders and fighting approaching Russians. Price helps you get Soap into a safe room, but it's too late. Soap tells Price that Makarov knows Yuri, before dying on the table.
Come on, stay with me, son. Price.
No. Makarov knows. Yuri.
Oh no, 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 no! Soap! No, no, no! Soap! You have to go now! Get off me! I'm sorry.
Price is stunned at the loss of his ally, frustrated he couldn't keep him alive. As over the 3 games they had developed a close trust and brotherhood between themselves, they could always count on each other. With both the player and Price not really having any ties to Yuri, you could almost say that Price is alone now. And he immediately tells Yuri to go downstairs to continue the mission, but instead Price punches Yuri down the stairs into the basement before holding him at gunpoint, demanding to know what Soap meant about Makarov knowing Yuri.
Soap trusted you. I thought I could too. So why in bloody hell does Makarov know you?
Let's pause for a sec. This is instantly framed better. You got build-up from all 3 games wrapped up into one scene. The knife wound that ended the second game stops the main plot of the third game in a way that the player cares for. You want Soap to live. He was the main character in the first game, and he gets lots of character throughout the second and third. You have time to come to terms with the death of this protagonist. You know he's not going to make it, but it's how he dies that progresses the story in a meaningful way. He isn't tossed to the side for shock value, even if the mission is a little bit ham-fisted. Let's roll back to numeral 3. Soap getting shot at the end of the game in a setting where you aren't even able to take a moment to feel the gravity of his death is shameful. If you stop to mourn the loss of Soap, the game will start yelling at you. Gaz will demand that you get over and start cutting the cable because you can't stop. You're in the middle of a hectic battle. Quite frankly, I was taken out of the scene completely because of this. I couldn't believe that Soap kind of just dies. No build-up, no real payoff because Makarov gets away. This is the kind of death you give a side character, not Soap. By the way, even in the original Modern Warfare 2, when Ghost is a side character, he and Roach are killed by General Shepard, and you are forced to take that in. They make you sit there and fully understand what just took place. The man gets like 15 lines and has a cool mask. Still a legend in my eyes. Back to the original Modern Warfare 3 and the scene with Yuri and Price, Yuri reveals that he was working with Makarov 20 years before the events of the game and tried to stop Makarov from starting World War III in Modern Warfare 2. OG, not new G. Yuri was almost killed by Makarov there, but he was rescued and wanted to join the fight against his former friend. This explanation isn't perfect, but it easily suffices for the story, as Price has already realized that the enemy of his enemy is his friend. In contrast, in the new Modern Warfare 3, they bring Yuri in here too. He is a Russian soldier who betrays Makarov by giving Laswell a USB drive with Makarov's intel, and even uses that line,
Противник моего оппонента, мой союзник.
which I'm not actually upset over. I guess I'm just wondering if that character had to be Yuri, or literally any other name. Yuri isn't a majorly important character in either series at this point, but he does have a role to play, and I know he could have done more than just be a glorified cameo. Yuri does, however, get his 5 minutes of fame in the original Modern Warfare 3, where in the final moments of the game, during the showdown against Makarov, he saves Captain Price, who was about to die when trying to kill Makarov. Yuri shows up at the last possible second after they had been separated and saves Price by shooting Makarov in the chest, who then retaliates by shooting Yuri in the arm and then the head. Yuri is not someone who gets the final blow, and he didn't need to be, but he does get a story that shows that where you come from doesn't matter, it's what you do that defines you. It's a story of realizing your mistakes and trying to correct them, even if you have to make the ultimate sacrifice. Now, let me flip the script and complain about the original Modern Warfare 3 for a little bit. I wish the plot wasn't so crazy, but I understand the need for a crazier finale. The Eiffel Tower being destroyed always irked me, even if it's supposed to be a set piece. The ending is completely rushed, but at least they could wrap it up in a trilogy. Kamarov's death really has no meaning, especially for a character who has been with us since the early missions of the original Modern Warfare. Yuri didn't need to die. He could have been a shining example for righting your wrongs. And while I like the cool factor of Price lighting that final cigar while Makarov hangs above him, there is absolutely no resolution for the world we've explored. They gloss over that as quickly as possible as a way of leaving the world open for a sequel. And this point isn't explicit to Modern Warfare 3, but the whole original trilogy. The absolute overuse of slow motion for every important scene in the games. Which, by the way, on that topic, you could say that because of that overuse, they didn't use it on Soap in the new Modern Warfare 3, but to skimp on it on a character that people love when it already stinks of a shock factor death is insulting. Alright, I think I've complained enough. Before the criticism of realism is thrown at me, please consider that you could still have a scene before the cutscene, but after defusing the bomb where we mourn this character, allowing you, the player, to grieve. Let me press F to pay respects! I'm joking, but lots of games have a second for the player to react to a death. And I know Gaz is clearly meant to be the Soap insert for this new trilogy, and I don't really have much of an issue with him. I think he's mostly fine. Thanks for listening to my little rant. I really needed to get that off my chest. I don't typically talk about games that are exclusively adult-friendly, or M-rated games in particular. I typically talk about things that anyone can derive enjoyment from, regardless of their age range. Feel free to check out my other content, like my long-form review of Sonic Adventure 2, or my in-depth review of a cute little indie game called Bloodstained: Curse of the Moon. If adult content is more your style, I also did a video last year on Gears of War, and a discussion about character writing. Feel free to check it out as well. I'm working on 3 different projects right now, 2 of which are long-form reviews of great kid-friendly games, and another one is a special project I've been doing as a collaboration between multiple other great YouTubers. Hopefully 2024 will have more content from me. I hope this video has made up for it, and I hope you guys have a great day. Thanks so much for watching.